We know that the original scriptures did not have numbers, and that the numbers were created later for a reference to be able to find verses. The question we must ask ourselves is this: do you think Yahuwah knew how the scriptures would be numbered? The answer to that is, of course he knew. He is all-knowing and omnipresent. That being said, there is an interesting pattern in scripture surrounding the number 23. But before we get into that pattern, let's look at what the Odiot says about the number 23. The number 23 represents the fallen letter Gayin, which we have shown in our study In God They Trust. I will leave a link to that video in the description. The letter Gayin is a picture of twisted ropes. It means twisted, wicked, and evil. It also has a gematria of 1000. This symbol is very similar to the symbol for pharmacy. Also, the year 2023 by the Odiot, the number 20 is the letter Resh. It means beginning, top, rule, inheritance, possession, headship, first, authority, thoughts, and wicked. The number 23 means twisted, dark, wicked, and evil. By the Odiot, 2023 is the beginning of wickedness. If you were to add 7 years to that, that would put the fulfillment of wickedness at the year 2030. And since the Odiot has no zeros, then the year 2030 is the year of wickedness, or the year of 23. We are at what is called the beginning of the birthing pains. And so far this year, we have seen evil being called good, and we have seen people starting to turn on one another. We have seen satanic acts in Hollywood and the birth of AI. We have seen government and pharmaceutical companies taking control over the entire earth. But what does Scripture say about the number 23? There is an ominous pattern surrounding the number 23. Now, not all verses that contain the number 23 are bad, but more often than not, this number speaks a lot about the end, the Exodus, the Passover, and wickedness upon the earth. Bereshit, Genesis 2:23. And the man said, now this is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one is called woman, because she was taken out of man. It was the lust for women that led the sons of Elohim, the B'nai Ha-Elohim, to take wives for themselves, as in Genesis chapter 6. And they rebelled against Yahuwah, and they caused the Nephilim to be upon the earth. This rebellion would lead to the many evil religions that the demons use to lure men away from the worship of Yahuwah, all focused around the mother goddess, because it was the desire for a mother of their children that caused their fall. Bereshit, Genesis 4:23. And Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, wives of Lamech, listen to my words. For I have killed a man for wounding me, even a young man for hurting me. For Cain is avenged sevenfold, and Lamech 77-fold. Bereshit, Genesis 7:23. So he wiped off all that stand, which were on the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature, and bird of the heavens. And they were wiped off from the earth, and only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. Bereshit, Genesis 18:23. And Abraham drew near and said, would you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Abraham was asking Yahuwah to spare those in Sodom and Gomorrah. Yahuwah allowed Lot to escape, and it was when he entered the land of Zoar when Yahuwah destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Bereshit, Genesis 19:23. The sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar. And Yahuwah rained sulfur and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from Yahuwah out of the heavens. Bereshith, Genesis 25:23. And Yahuwah said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your body. And 1 people shall grow stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger. Esau, the firstborn of man, was a man of the flesh, who cared nothing about the worship of Yahuwah, and sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to his brother Yaakov, a man of the spirit. An allegory for the Sumerians, who worship the many idols instead of the Most High, whose idols are useless. And since Esau represents the firstborn, this represents us who are born into the flesh. But Yaakov become Israel, who are secondborn, or born of the Spirit. The name Israel means overcoming with El, for it is those who overcome who will be saved. Overcome this fleshly world. Bereshith, Genesis 37:23. So it came to be, when Yosef had come to his brothers, that they stripped Joseph of his robe, the long robe which was on him, and they took him and threw him into the pit. And the pit was empty, there was no water in it. This evil act that caused the Israelites to end up as captives in Egypt. Bereshith, Genesis 41:23. Then saw 7 heads withered, lean, scorched by the east wind, coming up after them. Bereshith, Genesis 49:23. And the archers have bitterly grieved him, shot at him, and hated him. Shemoth, Exodus 2:23. And it came to be after these many days that the sovereign of Mitzrayim died, and the children of Israel groaned because of the slavery, and they cried out, and their cry came up to Elohim because of the slavery. Shemoth, Exodus 4:23. So I say to you, let my son go to serve me, but if you refuse to let him go, see, I am killing your son, your firstborn. Shemoth, Exodus 5:23. For ever since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to this people, and you have not delivered your people at all. Shemoth, Exodus 8:23. And I shall put a ransom between my people and your people. Tomorrow this sign shall be. Shemoth, Exodus 9:23. Then Moshe stretched out his rod towards the heavens, and Yahuwah sent thunder and hail, and fire came down to the earth, and Yahuwah rained hail on the land of Mitzrayim. Shemoth, Exodus 10:23. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days, while the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. Shemoth, Exodus 12:23. And Yahuwah shall pass on to smite the Mitzrites, and shall see the blood on the lintel on the 2 doorposts. And Yahuwah shall pass over the door, and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to smite you. Shemoth, Exodus 14:23. And the Mitzrites pursued and went after them into the midst of the sea, all the horses of Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. Shemoth, Exodus 15:23. And they came to Marah, and they were unable to drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. So the name of it was called Marah. Shemoth, Exodus 16:23. And he said to them, This is what Yahuwah has said. Tomorrow is rest as Shabbat, set apart to Yahuwah. That which you bake, bake, and that which you cook, cook. And lay up for yourselves all that is left over to keep it until morning. The Shabbat is the mark of Elohim's people. Shemoth, Exodus 20:23. You do not make, besides me, mighty ones of silver, and you do not make mighty ones of gold for yourselves. Shemoth, Exodus 22:23. If you do afflict them at all, if they cry out to me at all, I shall certainly hear their cry. And my wrath shall burn, and I shall kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. Shemoth, Exodus 23:23. For my messengers shall go before you, and shall bring you into the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I shall cut them off. Shemoth, Exodus 32:23. And they said to me, Make us mighty ones who go before us, for this Moshe, the man who brought us out of the land of Mitzrayim, we do not know what has become of him. Vayikra, Leviticus 20:23. And do not walk in the laws of the nation which I am driving out before you, for they do all these, and therefore I loathe them. Bimidbar, Numbers 24:23. And he took up this proverb and said, Oh, who does live when El does this? Devarim, Deuteronomy 4:23. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahuwah your Elohim, which he made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in any form, as Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you. Devarim, Deuteronomy 6:23. And he brought us out from there, to bring us in, to give us the land of which he swore to our fathers. Devarim, Deuteronomy 7:23. But Yahuwah your Elohim shall deliver them over to you, and destroy them with a great destruction, until they are consumed. Devarim, Deuteronomy 11:23. Then Yahuwah shall drive out all these nations before you, and shall dispose greater and stronger nations than you. Devarim, Deuteronomy 28:23. And your heavens which are over your head shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you iron. Devarim, Deuteronomy 29:23. All its land is sulfur, salt, and burning. It is not sown, nor does it bear, nor does any grass grow there, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which Yahuwah overthrew in his displeasure and in his wrath. Devarim, Deuteronomy 31:23. And he commanded Yehoshua son of Nun, and said, Be strong and courageous, for you are to bring the children of Israel into the land of which I swore to them, and I myself am with you. Devarim, Deuteronomy 32:23. I gather evils upon them, I use up my arrows upon them, wasted by scarcity of food, and consumed by heat and bitter destruction. And the teeth of beasts I send upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. Yehoshua, Joshua 4:23. For Yahuwah your Elohim dried up the waters of the Yarden before you until you passed over, as Yahuwah your Elohim did in the Sea of Reeds, which he dried up before us until we passed over, so that all the peoples of the earth shall know that the hand of Yahuwah that is strong, so that you shall fear Yahuwah your Elohim forever. Judges 9:23. And Elohim sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the masters of Shechem, and the masters of Shechem acted treacherously against Abimelech, in order that the violence be done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come. Their blood be laid on Abimelech their brother, who killed them, and on the masters of Shechem, who strengthened his hands to kill his brothers. 1 Samuel 15:23. For rebellion is as the sin of divination, and stubbornness is as wickedness and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Yahuwah, he also does reject you as sovereign. 2 Samuel 7:23. And who is like your people, like Israel, the one nation on earth, whom Elohim went to ransom for himself as a people, to make for himself a name, and to do it for your greatness, and awesome deeds for your land, before your people, whom you ransomed for yourself from Mitzrayim, from the nations and their mighty ones. 2 Samuel 15:23. And the land was weeping with a loud voice, and all the people were passing over. And the sovereign himself was passing over the Wadi Kedron, and all people were passing over towards the way of the wilderness. 1 Kings 21:23. And also of Jezebel, Yahuwah has spoken, saying, The dogs are going to eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. 1 Kings 22:23. And now see, Yahuwah has put a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all these prophets of yours, and Yahuwah has spoken evil concerning you. 2 Kings 3:23. And they said, This is blood. The sovereigns have indeed struck swords and have killed one another. And now Moab to the spoil. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 7:23. And it shall be in that day, every place where there were 1,000 vines worth 1,000 shekels of silver, let it be for thorn bushes and weeds. With arrows and bows one shall go there, because all the land shall be of thorn bushes and weeds. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 10:23. For the Master Yahuwah of hosts is making a complete end, as decided in the midst of all the earth. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 14:23. And I shall make it a possession for the porcupine and the marshes of muddy water, and shall sweep it with the broom of destruction, declares Yahuwah of hosts. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 19:23. In that day there shall be a highway from Mitzrayim to Ashur, and Ashur shall come to Mitzrayim, and Mitzrayim into Ashur, and Mitzrayim shall serve with Ashur. In that day Yisrael shall be one of three with Mitzrayim and Ashur, even a blessing in the midst of the earth, whom Yahuwah of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed is Mitzrayim my people, and Ashur the works of my hands, and Israel my inheritance. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 24:23. And the moon shall blush, and the sun shall be ashamed, for Yahuwah of hosts shall reign on Mount Zion, and in Jerusalem, and before his elders in esteem. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 30:23. And he shall give the rain for your seed, with which you sow the ground, and bread of the increase of the earth, and it shall be fat and rich, your cattle grazing in an enlarged pasture in that day. And the oxen and the young donkeys that work the ground eat seasoned fodder, winnowed with shovel and fan. And on every high mountain and on every high hill there shall be rivers and streams of water in the day of great killing, when the towers fall. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 40:23. Who brings princes to naught shall make the rulers of the earth as emptiness. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 42:23. Who among you gives ear to this, pays attention and hears for the time to come? Yeshayahu, Isaiah 44:23. Sing, O heavens, for Yahuwah shall do it. Shout, O depths of the earth. Break forth into singing, O mountains, forest and every tree in it. For Yahuwah shall redeem Yaakov and make himself clear in Yisrael. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 45:23. I have sworn by myself, a word has gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return, so that to me every knee shall bow, every tongue swear. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 49:23. And sovereigns shall be your foster fathers, and their sovereignesses your nursing mothers. They bow down to you with their faces to the earth, and lick up the dust of your feet. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Those who wait for me shall not be ashamed. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 51:23. And I shall put it in the hand of those who afflict you, who have said to your being, Bow down, and we pass over you. And you made your back like the ground, and as the street to walk over. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 66:23. And it shall be that from new moon to new moon, and from Sabbath to Sabbath, all flesh shall come to worship before me, declares Yahuwah. And they shall go forth and look upon the corpses of the men who have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, and their fire not be quenched, and they shall be repulsive to all flesh. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 2:23. How do you say, I'm not defiled? I have not gone after the Baals. See your way in the valley, Know what you have done, a swift dromedary breaking loose in her ways. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 3:23. Truly delusion comes from the high hills, the noisy throng on the mountains. Truly in Yahuwah our Elohim is the deliverance of Yisrael. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 4:23. I looked at the earth and saw it was formless and empty, and the heavens they had no light. I looked at the mountains and saw they shook, and all the hills were swaying. I looked and saw there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens had fled. I looked and saw the garden land was a wilderness, and all its cities were broken down at the presence of Yahuwah by his burning displeasure. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 5:23. But this people has a backsliding and rebellious heart. They have turned aside and gone astray. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 6:23. They strengthen their bow and spear. They are cruel and have no compassion. Their voice roars like the sea, and they ride on horses, set in array as a man for battle against you, O daughter of Zion. We have heard the report of it. Our hands grow weak. Distress have taken hold of us, pain as of a woman in labor. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 11:23. And there shall be no remnant of them, for I bring evil on the men of Ananoth, the year of their punishment. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 13:23. Does a Cushite change his skin and a leopard its spots? You who are taught to do evil are also unable to do good. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 17:23. But they did not obey or incline their ear, and they made their neck stiff, not to hear and not to receive instruction. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 18:23. But you, O Yahuwah, you know all their counsel against me to slay me. Do not pardon their crookedness, nor blot out their sin from your presence, and let them be overthrown before you. Deal with them in the time of your displeasure. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 22:23. You who dwell in Lebanon, being nested in the cedars, how you shall groan when the pangs come upon you, like the pains of a woman giving birth. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 23:1-6. Woe to the shepherds, destroying and scattering the sheep of my pasture, declares Yahuwah. Therefore thus said Yahuwah Elohim of Israel against the shepherds who feed my people. You have scattered my flock, driven them away, and have not tended them. See, I am punishing you for the evil of your deeds, declares Yahuwah. Therefore I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and I shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear and increase. And I shall raise up shepherds over them, and they shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be discouraged, nor shall they be lacking, declares Yahuwah. See, the days are coming, declares Yahuwah, when I shall raise for David a branch of righteousness, and a sovereign shall reign and act wisely, and shall do right ruling and righteousness in the earth. In his days Yehudah shall be saved, and Israel dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called Yahuwah, our righteousness. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 29:23. Because they have done wickedness in Israel, and committed adultery with their neighbors' wives, and have spoken a word in my name falsely, which I have not commanded them. And I am he who knows, and a witness, declares Yahuwah. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 30:23. See, the storm of Yahuwah shall go forth in a rage, a whirling storm. It busts upon the head of the wicked. The burning displeasure of Yahuwah shall not turn back until he has done and established the purposes of his heart. In the latter days you shall understand it. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 31:23. Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, let them once again say this word in the land of Yehudah and its cities, when I turn back their captivity. Yahuwah bless you, O home of righteousness, mountain of set apartness. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 32:23. And they came in and possessed it, but they did not obey your voice, nor did they walk in your Torah. They did not do all that you commanded them to do, so you brought all this evil upon them. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 38:23. And they're going to surrender all your wives and your children to Kasdim, and you yourself shall not escape from their hand, but be taken by the hand of the sovereign of Babel, and this city shall be burned with fire. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 44:23. Because you have burned incense, and because you have sinned against Yahuwah, and did not obey the voice of Yahuwah, or walk in his Torah, in his laws, or in his witnesses, therefore this evil did befall you, as at this day. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 50:23. How the hammer of all the earth has been cut off and broken, how Babel has become a ruin among the nations. Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah 51:23. And with you I shall break in pieces the shepherd and his flock, and with you I shall break in pieces the farmer and his yoke of oxen, and with you I shall break in pieces governors and rulers, and I shall repay Babel and all the inhabitants of Chaldea for all the evil that they have done in Zion before your eyes, declares Yahuwah. Ezekiel 7:23. Make a chain, for the land has been filled with crimes of blood, and the city has been filled with violence. Ezekiel 12:23. Therefore say to them, Thus said the Master Yahuwah, I shall make this proverb to cease, so that they no longer use it as a proverb in Israel, but say to them, The days have drawn near, as well as the matter of every vision. Ezekiel 13:23. Therefore you shall no longer see false visions, nor practice divination, and I shall deliver my people out of your hand, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Ezekiel 14:23. And they shall comfort you when you see their ways and their deeds, and you shall know that it was not for naught that I have done whatever I did in it, declares the Master Yahuwah. Ezekiel 16:23. Then it came to be, after all your evil, woe, woe to you, declares the Master Yahuwah. Ezekiel 18:23. Have I any pleasure in the death of the wicked, declares the Master Yahuwah? Is it not that he should turn from his ways and live? Ezekiel 21:23. And it shall be to them as false divination in the eyes of those who have sworn oaths to them. But he is bringing their crookedness to remembrance, so that they are taken. Ezekiel 24:23. And let your turbans remain on your heads, and your sandals on your feet. Do not mourn, nor weep, but you shall pine away in your crookednesses, and groan with one another. Ezekiel 28:23. And I shall send pestilence upon her, and blood in her streets, and the slain shall fall in the midst by the sword against her from all sides, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Ezekiel 32:23. Whose burial sites are like the sides of the pit, and her assembly is all around her burial place, all of them slain, fallen by the sword, because they instilled fear in the land of the living. Ezekiel 39:23. And the nations shall know that the house of Israel went into exile for their crookedness, because they have trespassed against me, so that I hid my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their adversaries, and they all fell by the sword. Daniel 4:23. And the sovereign saw a watcher, even a set apart one, coming down from the heavens, and he said, Hew down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump of its roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and bronze in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of the heavens, and let its portion be with the beast of the field, till 7 times pass over him. Daniel 5:23. and you have lifted yourself up against the master of the heavens. And they brought before you the vessels of his house, and you and your great men, your wives and your concubines, have been drinking wine from them. And you have praised the Elohim of silver and of gold and of bronze and of iron and of wood and stone, which neither see nor hear nor know. But the Elah who holds your breath in his hand and owns all your ways, you have not made great. Daniel 7:23. This is what he said: the fourth beast is the fourth rain on earth, which is different from all the rains, and it devours all the earth, tramples it down, and crushes it. Daniel 8:23. And in the latter time of their rule, when the transgressors had filled up their measure, a sovereign, fierce of face, skilled in intrigues, shall stand up. Daniel 11:23. And after they joined him, he shall work deceit, and shall come up and become strong with a small nation. Telahim, Psalm 23, 1-6. Yahuwah is my shepherd, I do not lack. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He turns back my being. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. When I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread before me a table in the face of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Only goodness and loving commitment follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Yahuwah to the length of days. Proverbs 23, 1-7. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, look well what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you're a man given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacy, for that food is deceptive. Do not labor to be rich. Cease from your own understanding. Do you set your eyes on that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle to the heavens. Do not eat the bread of the evil-eyed one, nor desire his delicacies, for he reckons in his life, so he is. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. Job 6:23. Or rescue me from the hand of enemy, or redeem me from the hand of oppressors. Job 12:23. Making nations great, and he destroys them. Spreading out the nations, he leads them out. Job 15:23. He wanders about for food. Where is it? He knows that a day of darkness is prepared for him. Job 19:23. Oh, that my words were written down. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book. Job 20:23. It shall be at the filling of his stomach that he cast on him his burning wrath, and rains it down on him while he is eating. Job 30:23. For I have known that you bring me to death, and to the house of appointment for all living. Job 38:23. Which I have kept for the time of distress, for the day of fighting and battle. Matthew 6:23. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Matthew 7:23. And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Matthew 10:23. And when they persecute you in this city, flee to another. For truly I say to you, you shall by no means have gone through the cities of Israel before the Son of Adam comes. Matthew 16:23. But he turned and said to Caiaphas, Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for your thoughts are not on those of Elohim, but those of men. Matthew 20:23. And he said to them, You shall indeed drink my cup, and you shall be immersed with the immersion that I am immersed with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father. Matthew 24:23. If anyone then says to you, look, here is the Messiah, or there, do not believe. Mark 1:23. And there was a man in their congregation with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, Ha! What have we to do with you, Yahushua of Nazareth? Did you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the set apart one from Elohim. Mark 3:23. And calling them near, he said to them in parables, How is Satan able to cast out Satan? Mark 7:23. All these wicked matters come from within and defile a man. Mark 10:23. And Yahushua looking around, and he said to his taught ones, How hard it is for those who have money to enter into the reign of Elohim. Mark 12:23. In the resurrection then, when they rise, whose wife shall she be? For 7 had her as a wife. Mark 13:23. And you take heed, see, I have forewarned you of it all. But in those days after that distress, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars of the heaven shall fall, and the powers in the heaven shall be shaken. And then they shall see the Son of Adam coming in the clouds with much power and esteem. Luke 11:23. He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters. Luke 14:23. And the master said to the servant, Go out into the street corners and the hedges, and compel them to come in, so that my house is filled. Luke 17:23. And they shall say to you, Look here, or look there. Do not go after them, nor follow. For as lightning that flashes out of one part of the heaven shines to the other part under heaven, so also the Son of Adam shall be in his day. Luke 21:23. And woe to those who are pregnant and those who are nursing children in those days, for there shall be great distress in the earth and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trampled underfoot by the nations until the times of the nations are filled. Yochanan John 4:23. But the hour is coming and is now, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father also does seek such to worship him. Yochanan John 8:23. And he said to them, You are from below, and I am from above. You are of this world, and I am not of this world. Yochanan John 15:23. He who hates me hates my Father as well. Revelation 2:23. And I shall slay her children with death, and all of the assembly shall know that I am the one searching the kidneys and the heart. And I shall give to each one of you according to your works. Kasson, Revelation 18:23. And the light of the lamp shall not shine in you any more at all, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall not be heard in you any more at all. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, for by your drug sorcery all the nations were led astray. And in her was found the blood of prophets and the set apart ones, and of all who were slain on the earth. Book of Yashar, chapter 2:23. And in the end of days and years, when Zillah become old, Yahuwah opened her womb. Yashar, chapter 6:23. But now you come and tell me this on account of your troubles of your souls. Now also Yahuwah will not listen to you, neither will he give ear to you on this day, so that you will not now succeed in your wishes. Yashar, chapter 74:23. And at the end of days and years, Anabal returned to his land of Africa, and he reigned securely in place of Asdrubal, his brother. Jubilees 3:23. And Elohim cursed the serpent and was wroth with it forever. Jubilees 5:23. And he entered in the 6th year on the 2nd month till the 16th. And he entered, and all that we brought to him in the ark, and Yahuwah closed it from without on the 17th evening. Jubilees 7:23. And everyone sold himself to work wickedness, and shed much blood, and the earth was filled with wickedness. Jubilees 22:23. Do not fear, my son Yaakov, and do not be dismayed, son of Abraham. May the Most High preserve you from destruction, and may he deliver you from the paths of straying. Jubilees 23:23. And he shall wake against them the sinners of the Gentiles, who have neither kindness nor compassion, and who shall respect the face of none, neither old nor young, nor anyone, for they are more wicked and mighty to do evil than all the children of men. And they shall use violence against Israel, and the transgression against Yaakov, and much blood shall be shed upon the earth, and there shall be none to gather, and none to bury. 2 Esdras 6:23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, he shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time friends shall fight against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear of those who dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth after all of these that I have told thee shall escape, and see my deliverance and the end of your world. There are many other verses that go along with this study. I started noticing that there was a pattern surrounding this number and wanted to share this study with you all. I never claimed to be a teacher, for there is only one teacher, and that is Yahusha. Please always remember that even though hard times are ahead of us, that we should look to the return of our Messiah, Yahusha, who has gone to prepare a place for us. Even when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, he is with us, and his Ruach will guide us and comfort us. I love you all, and I pray that Yahuwah blesses you and keeps you, and makes his face shine upon you and gives you peace. Shalom.